So, welcome to the June Reiki Reiju. And we were just chatting beforehand about our topic for the day or the month, maybe the year even, around this. There's been a lot of stuff. Like I've been having conversations with people who are like, oh, I want to do this training, I want to do that training. Obviously, I'm still ranting a little bit from the expo that I went to, where it was just so much around training. And I've got nothing against training. Like, I think if you're training for knowledge, great. Like, if you want to do a master's, if you want to learn more about a specific topic that has a lot of knowledge base. But there's a difference between knowledge base and self-empowerment. And a lot of the self-help industry or the spiritual awakening people, oh, liberation, freedom, get more inner peace, all this kind of thing. It's like, that's got nothing to do with knowledge, right? That's all to do with inner investigation. And so often when I see these topics whereby people are being guided into how to find themselves or how to find your purpose or how to do this or how to do that, I have to honestly put my hand up. And it was funny, as I said to some of you, I was chatting with a friend beforehand and we were talking about this. I'm pretty sure I was in that bracket not so long ago where I was also thinking that I could help people figure out themselves. And there is some value in having some kind of guidance, like what we're going to do in the meditation, actually. I could be talking complete shit here, right? I'm talking one thing and then I'm going to do another. But essentially, there's a difference between having some kind of guidance of what we mean by looking inwards, and then all of these trainings that are basically telling you that my way is the best way or the only way. And it came up in one of the comments recently on one of my videos, I think, how to choose the right Reiki master, I think. And it was kind of like, well, there's so much fake Reiki. How do you know whether it's fake Reiki or real Reiki? And actually, Reiki just means universal life force, right? So as long as there is an element whereby you're feeling there's an energy movement in your system, whereby you are feeling there is a balancing or harmonizing element happening with whatever modality you're using, then what's the problem? Like, what is this real Reiki, not real Reiki, original Reiki? It just makes no sense. So this idea that somehow or other we need to find the right path, it would be really good to just drop that. We're all on the same mountain. And so therefore, any path you take, if you are sincere in getting to the top, if you like to use that analogy, kind of falls apart, but you get the idea. We can't really make mistakes because you will have had this experience whereby you go down a path for a certain way and then you're like, actually, that doesn't really resonate with me. Now, no one else tells you it doesn't resonate. You just know. And then you backtrack or you find another path or you do something different or you get to the end of the path. And this has happened to me a lot whereby I will start a modality. It's really super helpful for a couple of months, a couple of years. And then I know I've got to the end of it. It's kind of like you get to a point where you just think, okay, I've got what I need from this. Or it just becomes less shiny and you're just like, oh, it worked for a time and I'm kind of done. And then you move on to the next thing. And all of these intuitions are coming from within you. I really hope that you're not relying on other people to tell you when you've finished one modality or when it's time to move on to another modality. And if that is happening to you, if everything you're doing is based on some kind of leader or teacher or somebody outside of you who is telling you, okay, you need to do this and now you need to do this and now you need to do that, then I would really encourage you to consider not allowing that, because that is kind of not going in the right direction. And that's how cults start, right? And that's how you start getting involved in these really dodgy people who are basically telling you what to do. So ultimately, self-empowerment is really about finding your own way. And the other thing I'd really encourage people to think about is when you are, when there's an impulse in you to learn something new, go to a different teacher, go to a different modality, go and learn a new training, what is the lack in you that is pushing that impulse? Because we were saying a bit earlier how it is amazing how this seeking energy, I've been really fascinated by that this year. That's kind of my hyper focus for this year is that seeking energy, which says, I want to eat chocolate, right? Or I I want to do meditation, or I need to do something different, or I need to like learn this new modality. I need to listen to this teacher. I need to buy this book. I need to whatever it is. So it could be from the mundane, like biologically. I don't actually need to eat chocolate ever. I mean, I do up here, but my body never really needs chocolate, right? That kind of thing. So it's different from I need to eat food, but it's needing to eat a specific thing. And then it's the same with my meditation. It's always very nice to sit and be quiet. But then I'll have this thing of, oh, it would be better if I did some chanting, or if I did this, or if I did this posture, or if I did this mudra, or, it's the embellishment or the thinking that when I do a certain thing, it will be better somehow. Or if I listen to a certain teacher because they've got some answer that I need, that seeking energy whereby essentially I'm not enough right now, right? Just being here. You know what I mean? There's something missing. Now, I would really encourage people, instead of going out and assuming something's missing, to turn inwards and look at that thought, something's missing, and study that. Like, what the hell is that? Something's missing. Like, what could possibly be missing? It's like when you really think about it, it's just it's ridiculous that anything could possibly be missing in this moment that's not here. Because by definition, everything is here. It's really funny. So I would really encourage that deep, deep, deep inquiry for that energy. Because what happens is that seeking energy is what drives us. And we have lots of excuses or lots of thoughts or beliefs as to why that driving energy is important. I promise you it's not. When it's not there, you keep breathing, you keep living, but without that driving energy. So it's actually really peaceful and lovely because you don't have that driving force that's telling you you are not enough. This is not enough. That is horrible. And that's what we push against the whole time. So, and you can trace that right back to childhood, right? This idea of not being enough, and this isn't enough, and I need to be more, and I need to do more, and blah, 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 blah. And that whole driving, seeking energy, in whatever situation, if you can just start turning and looking at that, and really, every time you get that urge to go outwards to grab at something that you think is going to make your life better, is you simply bring it inwards and look directly at that urge, and you'll see it's a energetic impulse. And it's really interesting because the more you look at it, it just dissolves. Like it literally just dissolves. Not to say it won't come back, but every time it comes up, you just look at it and it dissolves. And then you can just sit in the enoughness, which is really lovely. And then you just keep doing that. You keep noticing it and notice where it shows up in your life. And it can be really shocking. It shows up everywhere. But that to me is self-empowerment, right? That's the essence. The essence of self-empowerment is when you can spot this not enoughness in your own energy field and how it reaches out and grabs things the whole time, and bring that into some kind of context or rest, and being able to spot it and then allow it to just dissolve back into the whole over time. That's what creates the deep feelings of peace or okayness or contentment in the system. You don't need a book or a teacher or anybody to tell you that. And no one else can show it to you either. Like, you have to spot it, and you have to look at it, and you have to really be with it and the whole energy. And the more you get familiar with the energy, the easier it gets, right? The impulse just isn't there. So now I have an impulse to go eat chocolate. I'm not going to say I don't go eat chocolate, right? But I know it's an impulse, and I can watch it, and I can be with it. And then maybe I go eat chocolate. Maybe I don't. Who knows? But it's not like I have to do it. I'm forced to do it, right? There's a much gentler kind of energy behind it. So anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but I thought I would set the scene, and then we could just sit around in the enoughness. And I know we've done meditations like this before, but I think it's so important to just keep coming back to it, because as far as I'm concerned, really understanding that this is all there is, like, this is enough, this is all there, this is the totality, this is the wholeness right here, right now, is really key to all this work. And every time we go outwards grabbing at something else, a new whatever, new shiny toy to play with, thinking it's going to get us where we already are, it's actually really funny, but really sad as well, because we spend our whole lives like grabbing. And it's just really, really sad, because everything that we are looking for, we already have. So in our meditation, we bring in the self-attunement. So hands together in Gassho. If you please, if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. If you're like lounging around, enjoying your bed rest, then you can just basically lie there and just breathe it all in without doing anything with your hands. We will bring in the attunement, then we'll do a little body scan, relax into it, and then we'll just play it. Let's just see what comes up, but we'll just play around with this idea of that wholeness, and just see if you can spot that energy as it comes out in a thought or as it comes out in an impulse. It's like it's a very clear energetic signature. And once you start to notice it, it gets easier and easier to notice when you're off, because essentially what it is it's part of your energetic makeup that is moving out. It literally feels like that. It's moving outwards to grab at something. And actually, life is happening, and we're just, it's like this movement, like life is coming towards us. If you can, if we're going to sit in time, let's sit in time for a bit, and it's just, and life comes to us. Like, we don't do anything, we don't move, we don't move, life comes to us. It's like that movement. And every time you notice you're doing this movement, then you're doing the opposite thing. So once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty cool, because you can see the movement, and then you can also see every time you go out, you feel discontent. And every time you let life come in, you feel content. So easy peasy, right? So they say, simple, as we say, simple, but not always easy. So hands in Gassho, prayer pose. If you're sitting, you've just got your feet on the ground. Or if you're cross-legged, that's also fine. You're just noticing the base of the spine. If you're lying down, you're just noticing all the contact points of your body on the bed or the sofa. We start off with a couple of breaths. And every exhale, you're just starting to relax the body. And very gently bringing your attention up to the crown, the top of the head, imagining a thousand petaled lotus, opening very gently and inviting the Reiki energy to come in through the crown. And as you breathe it in into the heart center, as you exhale, breathe it out. You can either breathe it out into all the cells of the body, or start directing it gently down through the arms into the hands and fingers. Noticing the palms, the hands, the fingers. And then very gently bringing your hands anywhere on your body that feels comfortable. Palms down. Spending a few moments noticing any sensations in the hands, but also in the parts of the body that is in contact with the hands. And continuing to breathe every exhale, relaxing the body. We do a quick body scan, bringing our attention into the face, making sure the eyes are relaxed, the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. And then down into the shoulders. With the exhale, we relax down through the shoulders and arms. Into the chest. Exhale, relaxing all the way down into the belly. Often we hold a lot of tension in the belly. Just letting that all go. If you're sitting down, you're noticing the sit bones, the buttocks on the chair, and how the chair supports you. Noticing all the contact points down through the legs to the feet on the floor. And then just bringing your attention deeply into the body, noticing the breath in the belly. And if you're breathing up in your chest, you're just very gently encouraging the breath to go down a bit deeper into the tummy, into the abdomen. Every exhale, relaxing all the way through the body. Noticing areas of tension. And very gently releasing them on the exhale. Taking some time just to observe the sensations. If you've got your feet on the floor, you might notice some tingling or heaviness around the feet. Noticing the solidness of the floor. Noticing all the contact points of your body with the chair or the bed or the sofa, wherever you are at the moment. And then just seeing if you can drop any definition of floor, sofa, chair, and simply notice the sensations themselves. We label things heavy, tingly, hot, cold, but just dropping all those labels for a moment and just being with the sensations themselves without any labels. The feelingness. And see if you can bring those sensations out of geography. So what I mean by that is notice how, for example, with your feet on the floor, in order to know that it's feet on the floor, you have to come up with an image or a thought, feet, floor. And if you let that drop, let the thoughts drop, let the images drop, and simply sense. It's like the sensations themselves are not in time or space. And in this very moment with the sensations, there is no time or space. There is simply sensation. And notice there's no movement of energy unless it pops back up into the head to think. And if that happens, you very simply bring it back into any sensation that you feel. And notice in this space where there's no energy moving outwards into thought, into images or pictures, that there is a deep stillness here. And notice that movement only happens with a thought. It's like the thought itself creates the movement of energy. And without thoughts, there's simply stillness. And a wholeness. Nothing's missing. It's only a thought that tells you if something's missing. Every sensation is whole and complete. Every sound, and without any thoughts to tell you otherwise, there is a deep sense of relaxation and of enoughness. This is enough. Even that might sound funny. As you realize that it has to be enough because this is all there is. This exact sensation, sound, and notice how a thought might come and pull you away from this. And see if you can notice where that energy goes, that movement. Might even feel it pop up into the head. Or you might notice it pop out into the future. Or out into the past. And every time you notice that movement, you don't resist it, you simply notice it. Maybe it settles back. Maybe it keeps insisting on moving. Either way is fine. Notice that even the movement of thought doesn't disturb the underlying peace and stillness. Always there. You might even notice that things like your breath are coming in and out of this stillness. Appearing and disappearing, inhaling and exhaling. And if you would like to experiment, you could feel pulling it even a bit closer. Any sensation or simply the breath. Closing the gap. So you're not watching it, but you are completely in it. Become the sensation. Become the breath. And notice also if there's a thought, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. That makes no sense. Just notice these as thoughts as well, pulling you away. The seeking energy. And simply allowing it to drop. When you first start doing this, you might notice so many thoughts or pulls, so much energy moving outwards, upwards, future, past. So many thoughts describing things, judging things. But the beauty is that as you continue to watch, it settles more and more. Just noticing the energy, the movement of energy, rather than the thoughts. Staying with the stillness. And noticing as we start to deepen the breath, start to regain a sense of our physical body, even that is a concept. As you wiggle your fingers and toes, stretching out the body, bringing the arms above your head if you want to, giving yourself a little wiggle down the spine. Wake up all your bits. And whenever you're ready, opening your eyes.